So we went to Target yesterday and got a cherry picker. Cherries are fairly high acid, but it needs a little bit more if you're going to make this recipe. Okay, now we'll go to the next step. Okay, now this is 2/3 of a cup of cocoa and 6 cups of sugar. I'm going to stir this together. I don't know if you've ever worked with cocoa very much, but it really likes to float. So stirring the sugar and cocoa together helps it to mix together better. See, my sugar is a little lumpy, but that'll melt. And it's the instructions that are in the canning book too, which is right over here. You can see all the there's the ingredients, and there's the instructions how to make the chocolate cherry jam. I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, I'm going to turn my fire on and get this boiling. The instructions are to bring this mixture to a boil, stirring constantly. As soon as it gets to a hard rolling boil, which is a boil that cannot be stirred down, then I will put in the cocoa and sugar mixture, and I'll bring it back to a boil. And I'll bring you back for putting the sugar. Okay, now I'm going to add the sugar and cocoa mixture all at once. Jelly is always done this way. You don't put it in there a little at a time. You add all the sugar at once. Stir it in and keep stirring. It'll cool down. We'll keep stirring it till it comes to another rolling boil, and then I'll set the timer for 1 minute. And I'll bring you back when it gets beginning to boil. As you can see, that is a boil that cannot be stirred down. You don't have to whip it real hard, just barely turn it. So, just set the timer for 1 minute. Keep stirring. Very gently, you'll be fine. You don't want to try to work more air into it. As soon as this gets done boiling, I will bring you back and show you what I do next. Alright, it's almost done. There you go. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes so there won't be so much air in it. And as you can see, it's still boiling on the heat. It's a gas stove, so the heat's cut off. Let it sit for a few minutes, let everything settle down, and then I will skim the foam off the top. Okay, I'm going to skim the foam off. There's not a lot. I'm pretty pleased with that. But in a way, I'm disappointed because it's usually our first taste of the jelly. kind of hard to skim off of any kind of jam because the fruit gets in the way. Excuse that little noise behind us. That's the dog thinking it's playtime. Being silly. Okay, I'll finish skimming this off and then I'll bring you back when I'm ready to put it in the jar. You see it's still really hot. It's still some foam. I didn't get it all off. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to gently stir the fruit back in so there's not so much floating.
More evenly distributed.
Yeah, so it's more evenly distributed. I've got my canner going over here. I'm going to steam can them. Should be 6 half-pint jars. And I'll bring you back in just a second when I get ready to load the first jar. I'm going to fill my first jar. We gave it a little taste test out of that bowl, what we skimmed off. It's real good. It's very chocolatey, rich and chocolatey. I'm going to bring it up to a 1/4 inch headspace. A little bit more. Okay, that's about right there. Make a mess on the stove. Okay, I'm going to wipe the top of the jar. Get a clean lid. Get a clean lid and a clean ring. Put on there. Just barely put it down. And then I'll get the next jar and I'll fill the rest of them up. Okay, I've got my canner boiling. I've got 6 half pints of the chocolate cherry jam in the steam canner. Put the lid on. Let it come to a really good boil where it's spinning out of this hole here. And then I'll check this up here, which is the temperature gauge, and bring it right around into this dark part. Sorry about my fingernails. All the cherries got them stained up. Anyway, I'll bring you back whenever the gauge for this canner is around there. I'm going to tell you something. If you don't have one of these canners yet, think about getting one if you can. Because this steam canner only uses 2.5 quarts of water. And comes up to steam and temperature really quickly. You see it's already steaming out here. It'll fully vent all the air out.
If Victoria would like to be a sponsor of your videos.
Yeah. I love Victoria things. I've got, this is a Victoria steam canner, and I've got their food mill, food strainer. And I like Victoria products. They're really good. So, if you have a lot of water bath canning to do, this will can, according to your elevation, of course, up to 45 minutes. That's all the water it holds. If you've got longer canning you have to do, you will have to use a regular water bath. But this will can up to 45 minutes according to your elevation. Like at higher elevations, you may need 55 minutes, which means you can't use this canner for that. Alright, I'll bring you back when I'm getting ready to take the jars out. Okay, if I don't get steamed up too bad, I want to show you what it looks like when it's over in the green. See, it's getting over there pretty close. And I can set my timer. Bring you back when I get ready to take them out. Timer has gone off on this. I set it for 10 minutes. Anything that you process for 10 minutes or longer, either steam or water bath or pressure can, you do not have to sterilize the jars. So everything always goes for 10 minutes around here. Alright, it's been sitting here a few minutes. What you want it to do, so it calm down a little. Take off the lid. I'm hearing popping already. Pop, pop, pop. That's what I like to hear. Set them over on a towel. Let them cool for at least 12 hours before you move them or try to clean the jars up or anything. So I'll bring you back and I'll show you a picture of these a little bit later when they're cooler.